I've competed in public speaking competitions. I've won, I've lost, I've received standing ovations, I've spoken in front of 2,000 people. And every single time there's a common occurrence. It's I sit down to write a speech, but I have no idea what to write about. Yet every single time I end up overcoming it through the exact same process. And that's why I am recording this video. I'm hoping to share that exact same process so that you can replicate it in the exact same way. Because I found that it's very common. It's nothing extravagant or grand or unique to anyone. It's a simple common occurrence which can be replicated and overcome with the same solution. So here I have the overview where it's just an introduction, the ocean of thoughts, how to prepare for ideas, techniques, harvesting, additional tools, and summary. Okay, so that's where we're going. Fishing for ideas, how to harness creative thoughts. So I make the analogy, you can read along here, you can listen to me or both, that fishing is very similar to getting ideas for our speech. Because much like, let me just try and fix this window. All right. When we go and fish, we get everything we need, right? We get the fishing rod, we get the hat, we get the bait, we get the right location, we make sure the water's, the tide and whatever is right. And we go out to our spot and we sit there and we shoot our line and boom. We do our part, but ultimately the fish has to come to us and bite the bait. And ideation, getting ideas for our speech, is very, very similar. There's certain things we can do. We can put ourselves in an environment where it's quiet so we can think clearly. We can go for a walk in nature. We can, I don't know, be in the library where we might be influenced by the academic books on the shelf and all the nerds in the library studying along with us. That might help us get an idea. But ultimately, there's only so much we can do, and the idea eventually has to come to us and has to strike us, all right? But what we're doing is we're putting in ourselves in the best position we can in order to catch a fish. And what we want to be recreating here is we just want to keep going fishing, all right? So the most important part of any creative work, to a speech, a YouTube video, a poem, is the idea itself. And before I begin with the video, it's very important, or before I continue, it's important that we know that we're going to spend a lot of time on ideation. Is that even a word? Am I using it in the right context? Ideation. I'm using it like this. Getting ideas equals ideation. We're going to spend a lot of time getting a good idea. And it's almost going to feel like wasted time because we're not directly writing. We're not directly or instantly working on our speech. It's not immediately, start writing. There's going to be a bit of a wishy-washy phase where we're getting an idea, we're working on it, we're refining it, we're diving deeper. Then you do all of that, and you realize, no, scrap that, I have a new idea. It's going to take time, and it's going to feel like wasted time. But I need you to understand that the idea to a speech is the most important part. It is the most worthwhile pursuit. It is the most valuable way we can spend our time pursuing a good idea, because the idea is essentially the message. It's the substance to the speech, the substance to the words that we choose to speak. That message, that depth to our words, that is everything. Trust me, that is everything. You can have all the storytelling techniques you want. If there's no substance to your story, it means nothing. If there's no realization at the end of it, it means nothing. You can have the best rhetorical devices in your speech. You can be the best speaker. You can be the most good looking, the most charming, the most eloquent. If there's no substance to your words, that means nothing. The message is squat. Your speech is squat. All right? So yes, we'll spend a lot of time trying to get an idea, and we won't have it. So all the time, we're going to spend a lot of time getting it. And in the meantime, the time we spend getting it, while we're in that process, it's going to feel like we're wasting time. We should just get an idea and just work on it. But trust me, stick to it, endure long after it's convenient, and you will get a good idea and it will be worth it. So I make the argument or the analogy or comparison or metaphor, whatever you want to call it, that fishing is much like getting an idea for a speech. You know, in meditation, if you meditate, you know that we get distracted. Thoughts come and go. They naturally flow and they naturally come into our mind and they stay there, and then you realize that they come and they go. All right. Ideas work the same way. All right. So they arise naturally and they're influenced by what we're consuming in our past experiences. And so think of it like an ocean, and there's these little bubbles rising beneath the water out into the atmosphere, into the air. And above the air, above the ocean, the air, that is the conscious, and the water, the ocean, the depth of it is the subconscious. And so all these little ideas and thoughts from our subconscious mind naturally arise into the conscious. And what we're trying to do is we want to make sure that we consume so much of whatever it is. If we want to get good at delivering speeches on ice cream, we want to consume, maybe not consume the ice cream directly, but recipes and history and articles of factories and gelato, documentaries, and so much conscious information that we can shove it down into the ocean, into the subconscious, and then eventually, naturally, we have these subconscious thoughts that arise into the conscious every now and then, and those little bubbles that come up, those are ideas. So sitting in silence or going for walks with no technology allows thoughts to emerge organically. You can't force an idea to come. It's like fishing. You set yourself in the best position, but the fish must come to you. So here's how we prepare for it. What we want to do is, as I mentioned, we want to get so much conscious information, constantly immersed, consuming, listening, speaking, conversing about, arguing, just discussing, hearing alternate views, reading on certain topics. For example, when I found out about Roman rhetoric for the first time, I thought it was so fascinating. I listened to podcasts on it. I listened to recorded lectures on YouTube. I made notes. I read books on it. I studied it. I applied it. I read it. I loved it. I was writing it. I was adding it to my stories, to my speeches. I was using it in everyday language. It was amazing. And I had spent so many hours immersing in Roman rhetoric that eventually, as I'd be just, riding in the car, I drive past a billboard and I see something, and that immediately stimulates an idea for Roman rhetoric, a way I can apply it to my context, an idea for my speech, my story, or anything. It just subconsciously arises, and I can't necessarily control the bubble when it comes and whatnot. But because I had so much conscious, think of the air above the water, there was so much, input and so much material that I had above there, that I shoved it down into the ocean, that eventually ideas would naturally arise. So we want to immerse ourselves in whatever we are talking about as much as possible. All right. And if this is in a general context, if we want to get better at getting ideas in a general context, we have to generally be immersed in the realm of public speaking. All right. So if we keep watching Vinh Giang, keep watching, Yasir Khan, How to Speak Like a Leader, and all these kind of public speaking videos, essentially, just by you naturally being immersed in that, you get ideas on, maybe I should do that with my hands next time. Maybe I should, hold eye contact on a point, at the end of a point. Maybe I should consider storytelling and getting better at that craft. Does that make sense? So we really want to increase our immersion with the topic and the idea. Active engagement: read, listen, make notes, write preliminary drafts. When learning Roman rhetoric, hours of conscious study led to ideas spontaneously coming later. That's essentially what we want, and that's the only way I can really tell you how it works. That's how it's taking, Dr. K, the GG Gamer guy, that's how he explains where our thoughts come from. It is due to a conscious input so strong that it influences our subconscious naturally to generate these thoughts. So that's what we have to recreate here. So how we do this, how we can go fishing, how we can put ourselves in these positions to get good ideas, is simply battle with the idea. If I have to go and say a speech on, if I have to write a poem for a derby day, a big sports game, rival team versus a rival team. I'm using this example because that's what I had to do. I really wanted this had to be a big, good, strong poem, because it was the last game of the season. It was our derby. It's like 100-year-old thing. Alumni come from both teams to watch. It's a big thing. And so I had a vacation, dude. And in that vacation, that holiday, I spent a lot of time, basically the entirety of it, writing this poem. And I was battling with the idea for about 2-3 weeks. Every day walking, every day on my mind, every day writing a little draft, scratching it out, it sucks, forgetting about it. Every day battling with the idea, every day lingering in that moment, being on the brink of something great, but no, not quite. It's not a good idea. Every day I was battling with that, far beyond it became convenient. It wasn't very comfortable anymore, but every day I was in that position. That's all you have to do, because every day for 2 or 3 weeks, give or take, I was doing that. I was battling with the idea. I was putting myself in the best position I could to catch a fish. And one day, I sat down to journal at the end of my day, and out of nowhere, ideas just started flowing, running to me. It was like some insane rush hour, golden hour, coin rush. It was overflowing. I got every idea. The entire poem essentially came to me in that one span of 15 minutes. It all just hit me, and it all came to me, and it all just made sense. And the rhymes were hitting. That first initial draft made sense. The second, it all just added up. But for 2 or 3 weeks, it was me consciously, actively, rigorously going at it every day and putting myself in the best position I could to think, to get the idea. And it never came, but out of nowhere, the subconscious just after pushing all of that down actively into the ocean for long enough, a bubble of air burst out. And just like that, life came to me. And I got every idea I needed. But it took 3 weeks to get those 15 minutes. But those 15 minutes are gold. They are worth it. And I said this poem and everyone loved it, and people remembered. They printed it out, they put it on their wall. They said, yo, please send me that. I emailed it to them. It was amazing. 15 minutes, that's what the output can be. But it required 3 weeks of input. Does that make sense? So here's how we keep putting ourselves in positions to fish. Walks in nature with no technology or external stimulation, sitting in a dark room, just dark, no light from the laptop, close the curtains, just sit at your desk. But the trick is with all of these things is you want to have a pen and paper ready, so that if an idea does hit you, you're ready to capture it. If a fish does come and swim around you, you have a hook, a fishing rod already in the water, ready to catch the fish. You are prepared to harness this. Daydreaming intentionally. So in lectures, in the shower, in the quiet moments, when you're just daydreaming and you're thinking, hemoglobin, the liver, the blah, blah, blah. You're thinking, you just if I can just structure a few words here, you're locked out and you're just randomly thinking about Lord knows what. You can intentionally, consciously divert those thoughts and that attention to the topic. When you're in the shower, instead of just singing Rihanna, you can intentionally, consciously, actively redirect your attention and your thought to the topic. In those quiet moments, as you're waiting for your macaronis to boil, you can direct your attention to the topic. Battle with the idea as much as you can. Increase that immersion. And you want to be conscious of where your thoughts are going and direct every single thought and every moment you can to that. And the more you can go on walks, the better. The more you can sit in a dark room alone, the better. In quietude, the better, because it's just you and the fish, you and the idea, battling it out. Minimal stimulation, remove music, social media, and other distractions. Focus on the topic, let thoughts hover on the brink of clarity, uncomfortable but productive. So what I mean by that is, it's that bit of resistance. You start writing a little bit, you get something, no, it actually sucks. And you can feel like an idea is just about to come, it's on the tip of your tongue, but I just don't know how to structure my words well. That's the tricky part, because it's really uncomfortable. And just keep putting yourself, if you know what I mean, I'm so happy. If not, I'll try explain it better. Hopefully we get it by the end of the video. But if you know what I mean, just keep putting yourself in that position. And eventually, if you can keep doing that, ideas will come to you. But I can't tell you when. But when they do, be ready to take it all in with a pen and paper. So harvesting idea. When you get the idea, you stop everything you're doing at once and you immediately write it down. I mean everything. If you're in conversation with your mom, stop, everyone stop, and you write it down. If you're eating food and the meal's amazing, but you randomly get an idea, you get up, you put your fork and knife down, you write it down. Because these ideas, they come, they go, and you will not remember it. If you're lying down in bed and you're exhausted, and an idea hits you, and you think, hopefully I remember by the morning. No, you won't. You wake up, you get out of bed, you grab your phone, you open the voice note app, and you say the idea out loud. You record it, you capture it, you harness it, because these ideas are golden. These moments, these 5-minute, 5-second, 1-second little bursts of life that hit you out of nowhere, harness that. That is gold. And eventually, like me, when I was sat there journaling one night and this, the ideas for the poem came to me, it's this snowball effect. You get something good, you write it down, and then that leads to another flow, and you just end up writing everything that comes to your mind down, and you build up all this momentum so naturally. And you don't judge the idea, you just write it all out, and it all adds up. All right. Your first attempt is never your best. The first idea is never the best idea. So refinement comes after repeated cycles of writing and polishing. What I mean by this is, what's quite a practical tip to just get the ball rolling here is, I sit down at my desk, a dark room, dark enough room, dark enough to see, all right. Not completely dark, there's a bit of light so we can see what we're writing on the piece of paper. Does that make sense? And you think of something and you think, I don't know, that sucks. But you still write it down, because as you're writing down, more ideas hit you. Just whatever comes to mind, write it down and just get the pen going. Get the ball of the ballpoint pen rolling, literally. Just write whatever comes to mind down. Things come and go, write it out, scratch out if you have to, just materialize it. Make what is up here in the mental plane real in the physical realm. Write everything you can out. Put it on paper, and one idea will link to another, that'll add to another, that'll snowball. When you get that surge of life and all the ideas in that 15-minute moment, it'll link back to the first attempt, to this and that. Just write everything you can down. It'll make sense later. And then you need to know that what you have now is probably going to suck a bit, because it needs more refinement. All right. And eventually, after 3 weeks, after whenever, after 10, 20, 30 minutes, I don't know, it's very subjective here. But after you get that moment of that golden idea, write it out, capture it, and be prepared to refine that further, because your first idea is never your best. Embrace that concept, live by it. All right. Some more things we can use here, I've used to just maybe make my fishing moments a bit better. The moments where I'm walking, or where I'm sitting in a dark room, or I'm alone in my bedroom, is using binaural beats. I do 40 hertz, or sometimes 14 or 18 hertz. I found that's quite good. Classical music, it's much better. It puts you in a pretty good creative mood. It's far better than rap or pop or love songs that bring up past emotions and memories that can throw you off. Noise cancelling headphones in public areas. Obviously, noise cancelling blocks out noise, less stimulation, less distraction, irritation. It helps you think a bit better. And just always be ready to capture ideas. There's a notepad in the car. The notes app is ready. There's a note next to my bed on the bedside table. If I need to wake up in the middle of the night, it's there to capture it, all right? So essentially, set yourself in the best position to receive ideas. Immerse fully in the topic with minimal distractions. Just keep battling it out with the idea. You and the fish, you and the fish. And eventually, be prepared to wait. The ideas will come. And just keep putting yourself in that uncomfortable moment long after it's been convenient. And just keep going at it day by day. After 3 weeks, like me, the idea will come. 15 minutes for 3 weeks doesn't seem worth it, but 15 minutes of gold for the output that I have or had with that poem is definitely worth it. Winning the competition, definitely worth it. Does that make sense? Capture it immediately when it does come. If you spend 3 weeks working for something and it finally comes, you best believe you're going to capture it, all right? And then once you get it, you keep going at it, keep asking why, keep onion peeling, keep getting to the root cause, keep digging deeper, keep asking why, how, why, who cares, so what, now what. Let it snowball, build that momentum, keep going. Your best idea was never your first. Keep going, keep grinding at it and going deeper, trying to polish it up. And then I wrote this out here. These were just some good ideas I had that came to me as well, was just keep putting yourself in a position to fish. You're not just waiting for inspiration to hit. You're actively creating situations where it's just you and the fish, the idea. It's okay to linger on the brink of clarity, uncomfortable but productive. When an idea surfaces, capture every detail, its shape, color, movement, scales, eyes, write whatever comes to mind. So when we sit down to get ideas, we have a whole fish. The whole fish is what we want, all right? That's the idea, the speech. But we can only really see the eyes, but we don't know what it is. So we think of something, but it's not the whole. It's just the eyes, for example. And we say, oh, no, that sucks. It's not the whole fish. Write down the eyes, Write down. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. That's the opening lines. But we don't know it, right? We only get the eyes. Or we're sitting down and we think of something. We think of the gills. But we want the whole fish. We want the whole, but we need the part first. So just write it out. Whatever comes to mind, just write it out. Write it out, because we don't know what piece of the puzzle it is just yet. We don't know where it's going to link up and add up and make sense later. But whatever you get, write it out. And these little pieces will add up. Don't judge them. Don't force them. Just whatever comes, put it on paper. Materialize it. And then when you get the moment, you stop there, you capture it, then you dive deeper and refine it even more. That's the hard part. Your first idea is never your best, but that's the beauty of the process. This is the art of wrestling with the unconscious to uncover timeless ideas. The best part, you had these ideas all along, you just had to dig deep for them. And then I have a quote here with a bunch of spelling mistakes in it. You can read it if you like, but I don't blame you if you don't. Being near the state of slumber is the best, So being in a sleepyish state in the evenings, I found, has been very good for getting ideas. If you want deep work, if you want studying, if you want recording videos, I found that's good for them in the mornings. I'm well rested, I'm caffeinated maybe. And that's where I can really grind down and get deep work done. But all my best ideas have come at the end of the day, when I'm a little tired and I turn on my, incandescent desk lamp, and it's warm for my eyes, and I'm in a good state, and I'm cozy, I'm rested, or I'm getting ready to enter a state of rest. I'm tired, and I'm journaling, and I'm slightly dozing off. That is when I'm awake, I'm conscious, but I'm almost walking on water here. The ocean analogy, the air, the above is the conscious, the ocean, the depths of it are the unconscious. I'm slowly dipping my toes in the unconscious. That's where you can get ideas. That's where ideas have hit me the most, hit me the best. Ideas for YouTube videos, for poems, for stories, for speeches, for ways to change my life, to make it better. I should actually read that book. You know what I mean? And it's all comes from me. It's all from the unconscious, but it just arises out of nowhere. I found that being at night in those environments, my best ideas have hit me then. So journal at night, that's a good time to fish. Being a little sleepy at your desk, slowly closing your eyes, that's a good state to be in. Stay there and fish there. Hope this video makes sense. Hope it was useful to you, and I hope to see you in the next one.